Hey, what's up guys? This is Pi with SLRLounge.com and I'm here with the Peter Hurley. Peter, thanks for stopping by today.
Thanks for having me.
This
is cool.
Totally. If you guys don't know Peter, we kind of sang his praises a little while back. Him and the F-Stoppers actually came out with a DVD. I think the F-Stoppers did the production on the DVD, right?
Yes, they did. Yeah.
And did you plan the whole content? Like, was that all you? And
you know what? Lee and Patrick from F-Stoppers, they came to me and they said, you want to do a DVD? They did this, they had come to me a year prior and they did this, they said, can we come video you working? And I was like a little hesitant at first, and I was like, you know, I don't know. That's I was trying to keep a wrap on what I did, and then finally I was just like, yeah, why not? Let's give you guys a shot. So I remember they came in, they shot, and like halfway through the day, I was like, you guys got to go. I had paying clients there. I was like, I just can't. This is weird. I was like, you guys just go and come back later. So they left, came back, finished up. They were fine with it, and they finished up, and they ran in and just went nuts on their website. Yeah. And all I remember thinking is like, why did I ever kick them out in the first place? I was like, I just should have never done that. Anyway, so we became tight. They came to me with the idea of producing a DVD of my work, and I had, I had thought about it, and I'm really psyched that we hooked up on that and did it.
Yeah, well, awesome. You guys sent us a copy of it, and it was by far, I mean, we get a lot of DVDs to review. Everybody sends it to us to see it, and for the most part, probably 80% don't even go online because it wouldn't be good to do a review. They wouldn't want our review of them. I remember getting that DVD, and there wasn't a single negative thing I could find in that DVD. I mean, we give something 4 out of 5 stars, or we'll give it an SLR Lounge approved if it's mostly good, and there was nothing like I could find wrong with it. It was like, this is an amazing DVD. Like, you literally taught, I mean, for someone that doesn't do headshots, I went into that DVD not knowing really anything about headshots, and I came out of it going, dude, I could do what Peter does. Probably not as well, but I could at least have a huge jump start on my career. So
that's what I hope it's for. I mean, that's really what it's for. Yeah. I want people to get it all. And I was like trying to, give blood for the thing to figure out what it is in the last 10 years that I could suck out of myself and put on camera.
Yeah.
So I was shocked when I read your review because we hadn't shown it to anybody. I mean, we didn't know how people were going to react. I didn't know how people were going to react. I didn't know if it was different than anything out there. I'm a shooter. I never took a photography course. I never watched a DVD. I didn't know what was out there.
Yeah.
So we were flying by the seat of our pants. The F-Stoppers guys obviously, are in the mix with that. But they're opening my eyes up to stuff, and so when we let it go out there, it was just so cool to get the what you said about it blew my mind.
Yeah, it was an incredible DVD, and coming from, I mean, we shoot weddings and engagement portraits primarily, and so coming from someone that really doesn't do headshots, I found it was great because there was so much applicable information in there, particularly in how you coach your models in moving their face in the correct positions and talking to them, getting to feel comfortable behind the camera. It was amazing when you went from your befores to your afters and you see the difference from those shots. So for someone, that's why we said basically for anyone that does portraiture, it doesn't matter if you're doing headshots or weddings or whatever, there's amazing content in there for everybody. So it's a great DVD, guys. Be sure to check it out. We'll put the link below and you guys can go check it out. It's worth every penny if you guys are professionals or if you are aspiring professionals. So moving on, you're in LA. We're actually we didn't fly anywhere. We're in our studio right now, and you're in LA. I thought you were based out of New York.
I am lounging in the SLR Lounge. I am like, this is awesome. I am based out of New York. Yeah. I happen to be in LA. I mean, I have a studio in LA, and I happen to be in the neighborhood, so I figured it'd be nice to come by and see you guys.
Yeah. We appreciate you stopping by. When I heard you're here, I was like, oh, dude, we got to get him in and do a little interview with Peter.
Yeah. How cool is this?
Yeah, that's awesome. So you shoot frequently out of LA? Or?
I do. I've been here for 4 years, and I usually come out about once a month. It's going ballistic in New York for me, so I don't get out here as much as I had. But it's usually once a month or once every 6 weeks or, something like that.
Yeah.
I do the headshot intensive out here, so that's my workshop. I just did one the past 2 days, and I'm a little bit exhausted because On Saturday, we went from 9 in the morning till midnight, and we got stuck in the elevator in the building, and that was a total trip.
Yeah.
We got 12
stuck in the elevator.
The whole, all of the intensive was like I had 7 photographers, an assistant. There were 8 of us, and then I had a couple actors that we were shooting, and so there were like, I think there were 10 of us, maybe. There was me. That would be 8, 9. There were 11 of us. There were 12. I think there were 12 people. So we were going to dinner. So I'm like, let's go. And in my building's a big warehouse, and they had, anyway, long story short, we get in this huge, it's a big elevator. We go down. All of a sudden, the thing just jolts and drops like 3 feet. And we go, like, I was like, oh my gosh. And then we're all like this, just standing there. And I was totally freaked out.
Oh, I'd be too.
Anyway, we called the 911. Fire department shows up. Like 10, like they were fast.
Oh, really? It wasn't like you were in there for hours?
No, we were in there 20 minutes.
Oh, wow.
It was unbelievable. And we pulled the door open, and we were on the first floor, but it was like at our heads. I did a video. It's on my YouTube channel's Peter Hurley Photo. It's on there. But anyway, we get out, and it's just, it was like, I was like, this is, I called the headshot the intensive because it's intense. I didn't know it was that intense. Anyway,
that is pretty nice. It's like straight out of a movie.
Yeah, crazy. And yesterday we went till like 9 o'clock. So I'm a little bit beat, but I'm running around today and getting stuff done, and I'm psyched to be here with you guys. So
yeah. No, so I mean, we know that. I mean, Peter's kind of the name now in headshots. But how did this all get started? I mean, you're teaching now. You have DVDs. Yeah. You shoot an insane amount still.
Yeah.
When did it all start? When did you get into this?
2000. I picked up a camera. I was a model, actor, bartender dude, and I was
did it all.
I was like, I don't want to be in a bar anymore. I was like, and I had worked with some amazing photographers.
Yeah.
Over the course of my career, I worked with some of the best. I mean, and Bruce Weber was a really good friend of mine. He was the first photographer to photograph me, and he just kept saying, pick up a camera. So. I was finished. I was real short, training for the Olympics. I'm a sailor. I missed the team in '96. I went to New York, did a modeling campaign for Polo Sailing. Ralph Lauren, started a modeling career, did the model, actor, bartender dude, got sick of it, trained for the 2000 Olympics, made the U.S. team. Didn't go to the Olympics because only one guy goes, and I finished 4th.
Yeah.
But after I was done, I went to Sydney and trained, which was cool. But after I was done with that, I was like, what am I going to do? And I had met, over the course of that, I met my girlfriend, and she's like, I'm going to Europe to model. I was like, all right, I'll go with you.
Yeah.
And I went, and Bruce was in Spain at the time, and he invited me to come to his place. He was shooting for like Casa Vogue or something like that. We went to this killer place in Sevilla, and he's like, get a camera. So I was with another photographer from Madrid. His name's Ramiro Montoya. He was awesome. He taught me everything. I bought a camera. We went and shot all over Spain. We went back to his place. He had a darkroom. He taught me how to use a darkroom. I got back. I went to B&H. I bought a darkroom. I put it in my mom's basement in Jersey, and I would shoot all week in New York, go out to Jersey on the weekends, do my printing, come back in, and I did that for about couple years as I got started.
That's awesome.
And that's how it started. And I just figured do headshots because I was shooting a lot of models at the time because I was a model myself.
Yeah.
And the agent would just be like, I would just be like, can I shoot people, And I wasn't charging any. I was like charging for film, like 20 bucks a roll or something like that. And the models were also acting. So they're like, hey, I need a headshot too. Can you do something that's more, headshots, they got to look directly in the camera and give a little bit of some, they have to look alive, So
give a little love to the camera.
Yeah, and the thing is that from a business side of things, New York headshot photographers were kicking it. I mean, I was like, model test photographers, most models who get shot either get shot for free by people who want to test them if they look good, or they don't want to pay much for a model test anyway. So most of the fashion agents don't put out much money to get a model tested.
I see.
But actors that need headshots in New York, somebody started this trend, and they were charging $800 to $1,000 when I started, and I was
crazy.
like,
that's a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I'm not gonna go. I bartending, $1,000 headshot. So I was like, let me try this out. And I started at the bottom. I started, in 2000, I picked up a camera.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I first picked it up, I didn't know anything. And I'm all trial and error. I never took a photography course. I had that one guy teach me how to use a darkroom, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't do a flash sync to save my life when I first got my camera, and all my pictures came out black whenever I shot a flash. I was like, what's wrong? I couldn't figure. I was shooting a friend of mine, a model, in Central Park, and I had a Polaroid back on a Mamiya 645. I just went, as a model, you shoot with these big photographers. The one thing I noticed is every photographer I shot with had a big camera.
Yeah. And
I was like, all right, if I'm going to do this, I'm just buying a big camera.
So got to look the part, right?
I was like, that's it. Well, at the time, it was during the internet boom, and one of my buddies who sailed went to Harvard, and he started trading some money for me, and I ended up losing it all, but at the time I made a lot, and I got a darkroom and a Mamiya 645 out of it.
So something came out of that.
That's it, yeah. So I had this camera and the Polaroid back, and everything went black, and I couldn't figure it out. And eventually I figured it out. Long story short. Anyway.
Well, it's humble beginnings, like most photographers. In fact, I would say probably every big name that you hear about today, you might not hear about kind of how they started, but they all started from very, very humble beginnings. Whether it was they just were shooting these, weddings that didn't pay, that were like $50 budget weddings, or whether it's not having the right gear for the job, or I mean, it doesn't really matter. Everyone started out from these humble beginnings, and that's how the amazing names in the industry got started, because they basically were pulling off great shots without incredible gear. And so when you give them the incredible gear, now they're just awesome, and they kind of are a step beyond everybody else. So it's good to know that you had humble beginnings too. Kind of did the whole actor model. Did you like if you were in the restaurant and I came and asked you, and you're like, oh, I work here during the day, but I'm an actor.
I never got that serious about acting. Acting was kind of an aside that just happened from modeling. So I was always like, I'm a model. I guess. I don't know. It was very hard for me to call myself a model when I first got into that. To tell you the truth, I think the first 3 or 4 years I was shooting, I had a really hard. I didn't consider myself a photographer. It was even though I was probably making more money at it than modeling, I just couldn't say it. I was like, I just didn't feel like it was foreign to me. And when I embraced that, then things started. It was just weird. It was weird.
Yeah. Well, so now you're do headshots, and you still shoot a lot. So what else are you doing these days?
I'm doing everything that comes my way. So I run the studio, and people find out about me, and there's a lot of word of mouth. So it's my headshot business runs itself. It's just something that I built, and the reputation is there, and the casting directors and agents know me for the most part. So I don't invest a lot of time into that, because I started this teaching thing that I'm having a blast with. I love it, and I want to be available to do that. I'm starting my coaching thing, which is taking up a lot of time too. And then I'm starting a line of photography gear called Hurley Pro. So that too. So I'm firing on all cylinders, all different directions. Meanwhile, I want to develop a portfolio. This is one thing I've never had. I've always had a website, but I've never had a portfolio that I've ever showed anybody. I never physically made a portfolio. So I had attempted to try and do that. I just found myself so busy, so I have to allot time to do stuff, and it's just, my goal is to get advertising and commercial work, and I really get jazzed about shooting celebrities. I just like shooting people that are recognizable, because people have a perspective about them already. So you do a good job with them, and they're like, they see the image, and it seems to just strike a nerve with people, and I like that.
Well, there's an automatic connection there. I mean, whether it's someone that you see in a show or whatever it is, there's a connection with those celebrities.
I actually recently shot Mikhail Baryshnikov in February. So I get the job, or I get kind of a lead to the job, and then I get excited and stuff, and you're bidding out jobs, and you're hoping it comes through, and a million things go through your brain as you're doing that. So I end up getting the job. And I think it fires me up to be. I shot that day, and I was running on adrenaline like you would not believe. He was so cool, and what I did learn, which was even more nerve-wracking than anything, was that his last headshot or portrait or whatever was taken by Annie Leibovitz.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
That's some big shoes to fill, dude.
Oh, Boise. I was like, oh. Can I swear?
Yeah, you can say whatever you want, baby.
I was like, oh my gosh, what am I in for? So, I mean, talk about piling on nerves on top of nerves. And I'm a big fan of Annie's work, and I met her once when I was bartending. And she was like at the bar that I was like doing scoping something now for
Did you
her
know
book
who she
on
was
women.
back then, or?
I knew who she was,
Okay.
yeah, but just from modeling. So I said hi to her, and and she talked to me. I wasn't a photographer then, so I wasn't this was the worst thing about my modeling. The thing that kind of pisses me off the most is that I didn't know I was going to be a photographer, so I never paid attention to any of the photography on modeling jobs.
Yeah.
And then when I did become a photographer, I became the most annoying model ever. And these photographers were like, never hire that guy. I asked him everything. So I wasted 5 years of my modeling career, just modeling. And then the last 3, because it dwindled off, and then when the photography income replaced the modeling income, I just quit. I was trying to soak up as much information as possible that I became the annoying guy on the set. So that was it.
That's pretty awesome, dude.
So anyway, I met her before I ever became a photographer.
Yeah.
But she was really nice to me, and she was cool, and I'm sure I was a lot cooler than I would be if I met her now. I'd be like...
You'd be freaking out now.
Yeah, now I'd be like, oh, I met you when I was a model. No.
You'd be starstruck now.
Yeah, whatever.
So do you still get nervous when you get these big shoots?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There's like a... It's a challenge. It's nerves fighting up against this desire. It's like for me, it's the drive. It's like I raced competitive sailboats on an Olympic level. It's the same feeling. You're psyched to go out and race, and if you're good, you're going to do well, but you still get nervous. So it's the same thing here. I'm psyched I got the job. I know I'm good, but I'm still freaking nervous because I don't know if it's all going to go as according to plan.
Yeah, totally.
I think there's one quote that I like that I heard that was professionals are at their best regardless. And I always just think about that. I was like, I'm a professional, and no matter what goes down, I'm going to be at my best. Yeah. And if I just stick to that in the course of a shoot, it's all going to work out. It's going to happen. I'm going to figure out a way to make this work out. So, and most of what the nerves were around how is this guy going to react to my direction? What's he going to be like? How much time am I going to have with him? He's a busy guy. The thing about him that I respect so much is that I didn't know this, but he's an amazing photographer.
Oh, really?
And I believe he's sponsored by Nikon, and he shoots dancers. So you got the most well-known dancer in the world shooting dancers. How much pressure on him is to get good pictures, right?
Seriously.
So that's what I thought. And I'm a sailor that is a photographer, and I never meshed the two. I told him this. I was like, I always wanted to because I was at the elite top of my sport, but I never took good sailing pictures. So I was like, I'm not even going there. So he went in and shot dancers, and these pictures are phenomenal.
That's crazy.
If he's not the best photographer who shoots dancers, he's one of them. I mean, they're just gorgeous. Yeah. And after the shoot, he showed me everything and gave me a couple books and stuff. He was just awesome.
That's incredible.
So it was an amazing connection for me. And even better, he told me his assistant contacted me after the shoot and asked if he could replace Annie's picture with mine.
No way.
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude. That's got to be an awesome feeling, to go in with that amount of pressure and then to come out, doing such a good job. I mean, you also did... was this recently? I know you did the cast of Lost out in Hawaii, right? Yeah. And that was when they were filming their final show. Okay, so
I did that.
The last
this season. These jobs I get through my best client. My best client, and they really, I've been working for them for maybe 7 years or 8 years. It's called the Vilcek Foundation, and they're based in New York, and it's a foundation that honors immigrants that have done amazing things in the U.S. in terms of arts and sciences. So we get to do some amazing stuff. And fortunately, they believe in me and my work, and they've gone out of their way to send me to places and give me jobs that my portfolio. It's it's amazing what they've done for my career.
Yeah. So I mean, when you have these big shoots in Hawaii and stuff like that, what are you taking out there? What kind of gear are you taking?
Oh, well, I mean, I just load up. I make a gear list and I figure out what I need. So I'm a Hasselblad shooter, so I take the Hasselblad in every lens I own. And I need backup because I can't be on a shoot and have cameras go down. And my backup camera is another Hasselblad camera with another digital back on it. So I've got two options there. And sometimes I've been out here and I've lost my two options and had to go. I also had a Contact 645 that I put a digital back on, so I had to have it FedExed out here once because two cameras went down.
Oh, geez.
Unbelievable. So when you're in that situation, you don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
So I kept my two bodies with me, and everything was fine. I actually, Hasselblad for that trip loaned me a 50 megapixel camera.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
So I had a new 50 megapixel camera. I wasn't that concerned. So my backup was mine, which I shoot an H3D 22, which Hasselblad gave me in 2007, and it's still running. So I still use it.
Those are nice cameras.
Yeah, yeah. I won a contest. I don't know.
You won a contest and got the camera.
They called me and they were like, "Do you remember filling out this survey online?" And I was like, in October, and this was like December, and I was like, vaguely. And they were like, well, 18,000 people filled it out, and we picked 4 winners, and you're one of them.
That's
so
incredible.
I got a Hasselblad H3D 22 with a 28 millimeter lens on it.
That's like a
$25,000
awesome camera.
at the time. Yeah, at the time that sucker was 20-30 grand.
So the moral of the story is, if you want a Hasselblad, fill out surveys.
Fill out surveys.
As many
fill
as you
out
can
surveys in general. You know, I mean, online thing. Yeah, just
fill them out. Just spend some time.
You never know. I mean, I was like, he called me on like December 17th. I was like, this is the best Christmas present. I mean, this is it. What else do I want? You know?
Seriously.
$20,000 camera. I mean, it was amazing.
And what kind of lighting would take? I mean, you got your Hasselblad cameras.
I shoot Kino Flow normally.
Okay. In the studio though, right?
In the studio, yeah. But when I did half the job, so the production offices for Lost were here. So they had me shooting some people here. So I shot those people. I actually bring with me, I was going on location in the jungle, so I was figuring out some battery stuff too.
Yeah.
So, and I shoot... So I brought the Kino Flows to the stuff that went on here, but when we went to Hawaii, I didn't want to bring. There's too much to lug around. So I'm a pro photo shooter pretty much. So I had a cute 2R2400 pack, and we were going in the jungle. So I was like, how am I gonna run this? And I didn't know about their backpack back then, so I actually had a Vagabond from Paul C. Buff,
nice.
and it ran the cute 2R2400 back. I don't know if this should be talked about, but it did work. It did work. So and I might do it different. Like I have D1s now, and I just love them.
Yeah.
I love them. I just think, and I got the Air remote, and those things are awesome. So I took that. When I first started shooting, I was really with the modeling stuff, I was really into battery power. And I was running around, and I didn't have a studio. So I wanted something small, so I was into Lumidynes. And I bring those pretty much everywhere with me if I feel like I'm going to do little stuff. I just want them on hand. So I brought those. I don't think I used them for most of the Lost stuff in Hawaii, though, but I did have them. I did use them sometimes I'll use them for fill or something like that.
Yeah.
So I had my the pro photos. I remember we were off in the jungle. I mean, I love kata bags. I mean, those are the ones that I use. So I load those suckers up, and we were in the jungle lugging these things around and pulling. We wanted to go up this mountain, this like hill, and so we had these bags and stuff, and I just remember getting to the top of the hill and being like, I am like in the middle of a jungle with a bag full of photography equipment. And I took these amazing pictures, and the thing, it ran. We made it happen. I was so worried about that Vagabond thing. I was like, if this doesn't fly, and then I was going to go natural light, but I really needed with how bright the sun was, and I don't like, I can't direct sunlight. Sometimes it kills me. I like meshing the two. Yeah. I like meshing light and manipulating light. I always talk about sunlight being the best thing on earth, and everybody's trying to get this gear, and gearheads want the best light, but it's all trying to emulate sunlight. So if you can manipulate sunlight, you're in business.
Well, I remember seeing the photos, and I think what a lot of people don't know about you is that, and this is probably because of the DVD, and the DVD mainly you focus on studio shots, but what a lot of people don't know is you do a lot of location work. I mean, how often are you outside the studio?
I'm not, I mean, I'm in the studio a lot more often than out, but
Okay.
I really like going out of the studio. Whenever a client, it's kind of predicated for me upon the fee. If I'm going to sit in my studio and make X amount of dollars, and if I'm going to go out of my studio, I'm going to charge more. So
Yeah.
a client's got to be like, look, I could sit in my studio and make this. So you got to pay me more than that for me to walk my ass out the door. You know?
That would make sense. So yeah, so and your location work is amazing. Which, by the way, that would be a great Part 2 DVD if you did all like location headshots.
I think that would be pretty cool. I think that we might have to see what we could do about that. I'm trying to get more into the celebrity stuff, so
Yeah.
you know, and I did a shoot actually for this girl that is on the Celebrity Apprentice right now, Diana Mendoza. She's Miss Universe. She was Miss Universe in 2008. She's a friend of mine. I've shot her a couple times. She's amazing. So we went on location and did that, and stuff like that really, you know, fires me up. I love it. Yeah.
So I mean, given how busy you are, do you have someone like running the office side of the studio? I mean, you can't be possibly answering every single email and booking.
Well, I mean, I have an assistant that helps me out, but
Okay.
I have an issue with delegating.
Most perfectionists do.
Major problem. Yeah, and I am a bit of a perfectionist, especially with customer service. You know, talking to the commercial clients is one thing. I'm always going to talk to them.
Yeah.
But the clients that pay me for the headshots and stuff, I just feel like I have to be hands-on with everybody.
That's pretty crazy,
You know,
because you shoot a
I
lot,
have
right?
to-
How many
yeah.
a day are you doing?
I keep trying to tone it down. So I'm
Keep
trying
toning
to keep days for commercial work and all the other stuff
Yeah.
I'm doing. Plus, I'm not pushing it as hard as I was years ago. And plus, you know, with the recession, I think it slowed down for all photographers.
Yeah.
Not that I'm slow, but I used to shoot 3 a day, Monday through Thursday, 3 a day, so 12 a week, and I used to be booked like 2 to 3 months in advance.
That's pretty
So
awesome.
then it slowed down, and then now, you know, now I do. I decided I wanted to do 2 a day. It's by far enough.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, I get back and I shoot 4 people. I tell myself it's going to be 2, and then it turns out to be 4 people in a day or whatever. But I try and do 2 a day, 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, and I keep Friday open for catching up on things and working on commercial stuff.
Well, that's really impressive, though, given how busy you are, that you still actually talk to each one of your clients. I mean, that's incredible customer service that you're still spending time on the phone with each one of these people.
I'm out of my mind.
I think you
I'm nuts. I have a new assistant now. Well, it's like, you know, the other thing is that you're building a photography business. You have to build it, and you probably know this from building business, anything. People come and go.
Yeah.
You can't be reliant upon one person.
That's very true.
If I give it all away, I had to build a system for the way my stuff works, and I have to know that system inside and out, and it has to be I have to be able to teach that system. So
Yeah.
right now I have a new assistant. And she's learning and she's good, but little mistakes happen here and there. If I'm not on top of it, I'm not, you know. So I have to do just about everything. But it's been the teaching has been a little bit out of control, because now I have this bizarre problem in really caring about photographers. So like every single person that emails me or gives me a Facebook message or something, I personally write back to.
Oh, that's a good to know.
I have a problem. So, but you know what I did? I did hammer my Facebook. My Facebook, I turned it from a profile to a page.
Yeah.
But I had these like private groups of like 400 photographers that bought the DVD that I was talking to, and it kept the group open, but it got rid of me. So the group's private. Nobody can get in because I was the only one who could let people in.
Oh, I see.
And I can't get in. So I can't. So
Contact
it's just
Facebook
like
time.
So anybody watching this, if you're in my group, I can't help you. You know? You gotta go to my other site, my PH2 Pro site, and talk to me there.
That's pretty awesome. And then, you know, on the business side, I know you mentioned before that I think you charge like $1,100 per shoot.
Yeah.
And that's how much time do you give to your clients with that?
I do 2.5 hours with guys, 2.5 to 3, and 3.5 to 4 with women.
Okay. So the girls take a little longer.
Well,
Just like
makeup takes about an hour.
just
My
like they
makeup
do
artist is like, takes forever, but it's worth it. It's worth it. He's amazing.
Well, so, and the business model is a little bit different from, like, say, weddings or something where you kind of plan for after sales, right? I mean, that's, the money is, what you get paid is what you get paid.
Yeah, yeah.
That's it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So there's not really, it's all up front and then not really any print sales afterwards.
I mean, printing has gone down. I mean, they do print their headshots,
Yeah.
and they do retouch their headshots. So some photographers do their own retouching or bring in a retoucher, and maybe they print their own stuff too. And you know, that seems like a good option for some people. I'm way too busy to retouch, and I'm a shooter, so I don't want to touch any of that.
Yeah,
Plus, my goal for every client, the minute that I'm done with that, the minute I take the last shot, is to get them out of my studio in 5 minutes and off to the retoucher, so he can deal with them.
Yeah.
I mean, I love them, but you know, he has to be the one talking to them from now on. So he's like a buffer between me and them. I don't have to, like, you know, be talking to 50 million old clients, because they're all off to him. And he handles all that stuff for me, which is great. So I don't get any piece of the retouching. We did decide to get it going on a printer together, and I do get a cut of the printing that they do, but the printing's been going down. So with everything online and all that stuff, you know, so I think the printers are trying to figure out which ways to go, and a lot of them are doing retouching and other things.
It's tough because not that many people are printing anymore, which is kind of why, if you're still offering print products, it's good to have value-added services, like maybe you do retouch on your products as well as printing them or something like that. So yeah, printing is not a very viable option to make your business work anymore.
No.
So
at least they still need to be shot.
Yeah. They
still need photographs.
They still need photographs. They're always going to need those.
Yeah.
Until they have the camera that does it all. There's going to be a Peter Hurley camera one day.
Yeah.
And it'll make you look amazing.
Just point it in your general direction and you'll look fantastic.
It'll fix your jawline. It'll get everything right. So, so I know you also have a website. You mentioned a little earlier, PH2 Pro.
PH2 Pro, yeah.
Tell us about that a little bit.
PH2Pro.com. Well, PH2 was a concept that I developed in 2007. And essentially, I had a million people contacting me. My headshots are expensive. It's not in everybody's budget to be, you know, paying $1,100 for a headshot. So, but everybody calling my studio needed that service. So I was like, all right, let me figure out a way to promote a photographer or photographers and send them a referral business, and you know, maybe I can make a cut of that or whatever. Or in the case of PH2, I actually did everything and then just, you know, got a photographer and plopped him in my studio and had him shoot that. And then I decided, well, let's broaden the reach. So why only New York? You know, and then so I opened up in LA, and then I had other photographers in other markets say, hey, we want to latch on to be associated with you. Yeah. And it's a good way to promote headshots for their business or whatever. So I got associations with these photographers, and I would give them they would give me a referral fee if they ended up shooting somebody. That has evolved into this website called PH2Pro.com, which is free to sign up for. Anybody can go there, sign up, get a free gallery. But I decided I want to make this a robust referral engine for people looking for headshots. So it's not only for photographers. I do a coaching section for photographers, but I also want to build the biggest network of elite headshot photographers worldwide through it. Anybody who becomes a PH2 associate has to submit a gallery to me and be coached by me to get that gallery up to snuff before it goes on PH2 Pro and is attached to peterhurley.com.
Oh, that's really cool.
So that's the way it's going to work. And I'm taking everybody worldwide who's got the, you know, if the stuff's good, and everybody submits to me white background headshots. I'm like, you don't have to look like mine. Like, they can, but they don't have to look exactly like mine, you know? And I was like, oh my gosh, everybody's shooting these things, you know? And it's great. I'm glad I'm inspiring people. But I was like, you know what? I want people to find their own style. Yeah. A good headshot's a good headshot, you know? And if I like the work, I'm one-on-one with people on this site, making sure, especially the PH2 photographers, because it's got my name attached to it too. You know, I want it to be great, and I want us all to be able to make money together. And I don't charge referral fees for that or anything. There's a monthly fee to be on the site. And we haven't launched it. It's in like beta testing basically still. So if you're hearing this and you go sign up for free, you'll be able to use the site and fiddle with it.
That's really cool.
And be one of the first.
Yeah, we'll include the link below somewhere, like right here. I don't know, right there. Yeah, that's a really cool site and a great resource for upcoming kind of headshot photographers. That's really awesome.
I really want to take people under my wing and make this thing huge. So I hope people go for it.
Yeah, and then I'm really excited to hear about the gear. I don't know if you can talk about it yet, but
I
mean,
can
you have
talk
your
a
own
little
gear
bit
line.
about it.
Okay.
I started a gear line. It's called Hurley Pro. So the website's hurleyprogear.com. We haven't launched that site. That site probably won't launch for a while. But I just basically I came up with a concept that it basically came into being because when I'm in my studio and I go, why the hell does this thing not do this? And I go, wait a minute. I have a buddy who makes stuff.
Yeah.
And he's a sailing buddy of mine, and we go way back. And I told him this, and he's like, I make anything. What do you want to make? And I was like,
That's a good buddy to have.
well,
dude.
I want to make this do this. Can you make this do this? And we're launching this line. One of the first products that I have. This has really always annoyed me. I'm in New York City, and I shoot white backdrop a lot. So I do occasionally, believe it or not, shoot full body. So occasionally you'll see the people's feet.
Every now and then.
Every now and then. It's very rare, but I do it. And in that, when I'm seeing people's feet, I do like to have a glossy, like a little reflection underneath their feet. I think it's nice.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's kind of cool. For me to make that happen, I need to go to the set shop or somewhere in New York City and buy a 4x8 piece of plexiglass, which costs $100 and weighs 40 pounds or whatever. I don't know how much heavy that stuff is, 30 pounds or whatever. And I got to figure out how to get to my studio.
Yeah, which
so
isn't easy in New York.
Yeah, and I got to throw it on top of my truck and make sure it doesn't break. And then I get it to my studio in the freight elevator, which my freight elevator's broken. Anyway, long story, I can't get the frickin' stuff up to my studio, right? So I'm like, what's this? Why is this stuff so heavy, and why does it not? And it breaks. It like cracks apart. I have a bunch of cracked pieces of plexiglass that I've been dealing with. So I decided I came up with one that rolls and it's light.
Really cool. Yeah.
So my buddy's like, what about this? And I was like, let me try that. So I was here. And we rolled it up. We put some cellophane around it or whatever, and packaged it. And I brought it on the plane with me. They didn't even charge me. It was like one of my bags. I got to my studio in New York, and I opened it up, and it works great. And I'm like, this is awesome.
That's rad, dude.
Photographers are going to be able to do anything with this. So that's our first product. It's this board, Hurley board, I guess. We're trying to figure out a correct name for it. Not a snowboard. No,
really
they don't
snowboard.
make snowboards.
Oh, they don't make snowboards?
No,
They're just clothing.
Clothing, yeah.
Okay.
We're staying away from that. No surfwear, no clothing,
surfwear,
nothing like that. But that's the first product. The other products are just stuff that I think about. Along the same lines, V flats. I just made a couple of V-flats. I can't stand gaffers taping V-flats. I'm like, why do we do this? Why do photographers do that?
I went to the store.
Foam core.
Yeah.
And you have to tape them together. I'm lazy. I don't want to tape them together. And it doesn't look good.
No, I spent like 4 hours making V-flats the other day.
Right.
And I was like, dude. And they don't look good. They look like it's like construction zone type stuff.
No. So we're making like solid, rigid, really nice, hopefully lightweight V-flats that go into a little bag that's about this big, and you can, we ship it in a box to you, and you can build them up, and it's got a little, flexible thing in the middle, and you get V-flats that are actually nice, and they're black on one side and one. I'm doing everything that I wanted in a V-flat, and that's it,
Well, this will be awesome. I can't wait to get my hands on it. So I know, I think you mentioned, or I heard somewhere that Zac Arias has his hands on a couple of these prototypes, and he's digging them, right? He
does. Well, I mean, he just left for Dubai and asked me if I had any. And he so I shipped him the first sheet to try it.
Yeah.
I shipped him 2 sheets. Any.
Please bring
hopefully
this back.
He loves it. Anyway,
Well, that's awesome, dude. I really appreciate you coming down and visiting with us, sharing your experience and insight with SLR Lounge and with all the community here. So everyone out there, be sure to check out the DVD, and whenever you come out with cool stuff, dude, we'll be sure to let the community know. So stay posted on that, and we wanted to thank you for coming out.
Awesome. Thanks, Pi. I can't thank you enough. His review is just like, man, thanks, man.
Well, it's a good DVD. It's
amazing.
Easy to give a good review to a good DVD.
Amazing. Amazing.
All right, guys. We'll check you guys next time.